Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Samurai Shodown for the PS4 and Xbox One. Now I am a huge fan of the Samurai Shodown series, dating back to the days of me spending a copious amount of time playing it on my Sega Game Gear. Samurai Shodown 2019 is something of a reboot of the series, a game that takes it back to the original days of Samurai Shodown but ups it and modifies it for modern day consoles. But the gameplay is still rooted in the history and the legacy of Samurai Shodown. One of the biggest things that's always been a factor in Samurai Shodown is defensive measures. Samurai Shodown is a slower game than the average fighting game. It's based around parrying, defensive strategies, countering. You have to be patient when playing Samurai Shodown, because if you rush into a fight, you could have several things happen. For example, in Samurai Shodown 2019, you can have an opponent dodge your attack and counter. You can have an opponent parry. You can have an opponent even knock your weapon out of your hands. You can also catch a weapon, an incoming blade or scythe or whatever the character has in their arsenal, and disarm them as well. But if you can't, you're stuck with only your feet and your hands to fight with until you're able to retrieve your weapon. And if you're fighting someone that knows the pacing, that knows how to keep you away from picking up your weapon, you might be in dire straits very quickly. But even if you have your weapon the entire time, the fighting style, the gameplay style of Samurai Shodown is very, very quick in terms of how fast health will deplete if you're not careful. Each character has strong, medium, and light attacks that, depending on what button you utilize, what attack you utilize, can knock a lot of health away, or if parried or countered, can leave you open to lose a lot of health yourself. One of the biggest mechanic changes in Samurai Shodown is the lightning blade attack. At the bottom of the screen, each player has a rage meter that fills up with each successful attack or attack upon them. And once that meter is full and you hit all three of your buttons, the light, medium, and heavy attack buttons, you can enter a rage state that, once upon hitting those buttons again, will unleash a deadly attack that can wipe out an opponent's entire health bar if they're not careful. But like any maneuver in the game, it can be blocked. And if Lightning Blade is blocked, that's it. You can't utilize it at all throughout the rest of the fight. The same thing happens with super special maneuvers. So there are very precise limitations to every special attack in the game that makes Samurai Shodown a chess match. You also have stance break and guard throws. If someone is able to get in close on a defensive opponent and throw them, they are able to break their stance, maybe even slip behind them and unleash a deadly blow. Gameplay wise, Samurai Shodown 2019 is everything you would want from a Samurai Shodown game this generation. The offerings, both offline and online, are what really hinders Samurai Shodown. Story mode is pretty much a prototypical arcade mode with a ridiculous end boss. There is a time trial mode, survival mode, a gauntlet mode where you have to fight every character in the game. There's also the ghosts that are these cumulative CPU offerings that the player can fight against, that has studied various developers and arcade players and even yourself, that adds a little bit of replayability to the overall package, but doesn't do much to really offer that fulfilling feeling of satisfaction when it comes to offline action. Online is both very good and pretty bad. The good part, a majority of the players are pretty much on the up and up. Once you get into a game, it's relatively fun. Unfortunately, the connectivity issues that come with Samurai Shodown are very numerous. Not because of disconnects, but because of lag. And usually at the start of the second round, no matter who you're fighting against, you can have a flawlessly clear game when it comes to lag in the first round. And then when the second round starts, it's like wading through water. for the first 5 to 10 seconds, which usually results in both players backing up and waiting for the game to clear itself out. Another big issue is the fact that casual mode is really not structured well. In casual mode, you have the option of single player or team battle. While team battle is a 2-on-2 featuring up to 4 players at one time, taking on each other in elimination fights. Single player casual matches will potentially see a group of players in one room waiting for a chance to get into the one fight that's available per room. Unlike King of Fighters 14 or Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite or Mortal Kombat 11, rooms don't offer the ability to have a X amount of number of fights outside of one happening at one time, which is a pure detriment to the enjoyment of casual matches because you don't know how long you'll have to wait. Ranked matches are the best way to get into a fight fast online, and by fast I mean waiting for at least 5 minutes for a fight to become available. There are some other issues like extended loading times for some reason. I don't understand why it takes so long for the game to load. There are some other positives, like the sounds are absolutely phenomenal. The sound of metal clashing is absolutely phenomenal. Overall, Samurai Shodown is a great return to form. It is the perfect example of what a Samurai Shodown game could and should be in 2019 from a gameplay perspective only. From a single player perspective, it's really lacking, especially in this day and age. From an online perspective, it has its positives, specifically the community itself, but getting into a fight is too long-winded. It takes too much time, and then there are issues with lag in the middle of all of that. I have to say, Samurai Shodown is definitely a great game to pick up, but at a $60 full price, it's hard to fully recommend this. Definitely give it a rental if you can, and if not, I say wait for the price to drop just a little bit and then pick it up. You won't regret it as long as you enjoy a more defensive-minded style of fighter. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. Samurai Shodown for the PS4 and Xbox One. Now if you don't mind, I have to go back online. I have to take my boy Earthquake out, or maybe even Nakamura, and show the world what it really means to be a fat man in a samurai's world, or be a little girl with a bird in a samurai's world. And if I'm not careful, I'll have to use my lightning blade for one last attack that will make them say, "Oh Lordy!"